before I was rudely interrupted by my phone running out of data. I have an iPhone 6S, and the company that makes this thing keeps putting more and more system stuff on my phone that it makes it impossible to make videos. And I looked at the tutorials that tell you how to get more storage, and they're very complicated and don't seem to work. The simple fix is to take the calendar back 3 years, turn your phone off, and turn it back on. And you'll have lots of storage space. And it actually kept the video that got cut off when the phone stopped working. So where I was is there's a planetary alignment coming in next year, October 23rd. The three outer gas giants will line up, aim their gravity and magnetism at Earth. And when that happens, every 10,000 years, there's a end of civilization event. The crust buckles, all the volcanoes go off. There's volcanic ash in the air, so we get like what we call nuclear winter. The sun can't get through, the crops can't grow, the animals can't eat the crops, the animals die, we can't eat the animals, we die. This happens every 10,000 years. And every second time, the Earth, as it goes around, spinning around the galaxy, goes above the center line and below the center line and above every 20,000 years. So what we're going to get now is the one where the 10,000 year planetary alignment is going to line up with the 20,000 year crossing of the galactic magnetic line. And this has been an end of civilization event for the last 70 million years, which means this has happened 7,000 times. Civilization has been destroyed. So no wonder we're goofy and shell shock. So the economic war, the nuclear war, the New World Order, whatever neo-Nazi cabal takeover has to take second place to the fact that what the Bible says, end times, was predicting the 10,000 year disaster. Also predicting this war. This is maybe the sad part about this is maybe a repeating play, like it just repeats over and over again with slight alterations. If you want to learn about this, go to Randall Carlson. He has a concept called CATASTROPHISM, which is all about these cyclic catastrophes, and he's gone out with geologists and verified this in the fossil and the geological record that this happens at regular intervals. So Tripoli SAD is, as a planetary life form, if we knew this, we could plan for it as a planet and probably survive it quite well, because it's the crust is all disturbed. There's tsunamis. There's also the slight dust that is in the solar system ignites every once in a while. And that also is a regular occurrence, and it's overdue right now. This would be like if you turn on a gas burner and don't light it and let it go for a while, and stick a match in there, you get that. We get that on the scale of the solar system. And the punch that comes out from the sun hits the Earth, and the place that it hits gets burned to a crisp. And I think this is what happened to Northern Africa, which used to be the Garden of Eden, got a direct hit by this solar mass ejection and killed everything there. And may also explain why there's melted glass in Tunisia, which they say, well, there was a nuclear war there a long time ago. It was aliens and a nuclear war. More likely, you see, And these things change the entire planet. So the elites are building bunkers, buying bunkers to survive this. This will last from between 2 and 10 years. And they don't want to tell us because they think we'll panic and stop going to work and buy up all the resources, which we will. But it's a moral crime, unethical for those who know about this to withhold it from the rest of us. And that's what's going on. So we have the madness of totalitarian socialism and economic warfare, nuclear warfare going on just the year before this mega catastrophe of the crossing the galactic plane plus the planetary alignment at the same time. So as a species, we could prepare for this instead of spending $1 gazillion on more nuclear delivery equipped stealth bombers. We could spend it on underground chambers for millions. A lot of anthropologists and geologists have found underground cities that were carved out seemingly impossibly. They weren't chiseled out. It's like they had some kind of machines that would melt rock. And there are 20,000 people capable. And why they're doing that is they knew about this recurring disaster. And disaster is translated from Latin, means bad star, which could be our star or a comet. So preparation probably won't be enough because you'll have food and water, gold, gun, ammo, but the entire surface of the earth will be devastated. There'll be no sunlight. There'll be nothing, and no focal point for help. So you need to expand your preps out to underground and 2 to 10 years capable. And then the recovery starts. That's when the skies open up again. Although Elon Musk has invented an atmosphere cleaning machine, which we could have prepared and everywhere if we were united in this. But that's too much to ask for. Also, right now, this is October 6th, and right now Jupiter is making its closest approach to the planet since 1963-64. And that was the Cuban Missile Crisis, which is very similar to what's happening now. Russia tried to put nuclear missiles on Cuba, which would make a 7-minute flight to the American cities, and President Kennedy said, if you do that, we will nuke you. Now we have, again, in those days, Russia came out and took over a whole bunch of countries in Europe, Czechoslovakia, for example, with tanks, like they're doing now. It's a repeat. And instead of having nuclear missiles in Cuba, they have the nuclear submarines, have been canceled, who can bring the nukes to within 100 miles of the shore. And this new, the Poseidon torpedo, which is a 100 megaton nuclear bomb, which is autonomous, which can just sneak along the ocean floor and come right up to America. And the plan there would be either to nuke cities or just set several of them off at once and create a huge tsunami which would bury the east coast of the United States, which is where most of the people are, the businesses, the enterprise, the infrastructure. So this would be similar to an analogy between people fist fighting on a Titanic just before it hits the iceberg. Experts in survival have calculated that this planet, when properly managed, could hold 250 billion people, and most of it would be a park. This person said that population could be housed in a land the size of Portugal, and the rest of the world could be a park and a farm, like it used to be before its current incarnation. So my reach has been cut, and as has everyone else who does this kind of stuff. Also, this morning, the insurance companies are complaining that there's, in the U.S. alone, 100,000 extra deaths, and these are not COVID deaths, they are just unexplained deaths. And if you take that percentage of the U.S. population and extrapolate it out into the world, that 100,000 extra deaths per month becomes 60 million people will die from whatever this is. And if you do that for 10 years, that's 600 million people becomes over 500 million people. And what prompted this rant is, where are the adults? You see people in, I thought Congress was the scariest place to be pulled into, like, ooh, you're going to subpoena to appear in front of Congress. It goes on and on. Nobody gets arrested, nobody gets jail time. It's, in my opinion, it's just a show where somebody can stand there for 45 minutes in an empty room and make this incredible speech to make you like him. Well, I got to re-elect this guy, he's really into it. But there's nobody in the room, and when they vote for this stuff, they all vote for the crime. I lost the second half of that. Oh yeah, this thing, nobody said this. This is called the Great Culling. And when you cull the herd, you thin out the herd. There's a doctor who this is more than 7 years ago, maybe 2010, lives in Mexico. She preached, watch out for the Great Culling, and things got so bad for her she had to leave the country. And she came up just across the border to a small airport to do an interview about this. And it's a lady doctor, I can't remember her name, and my computer was emptied of stuff, so I don't know who it was. But she said it's almost time for the Great Culling. And this is the Great Culling. But no one has said that since those days. None of these conspiracy people have used those words. That's what it is. And it's well in progress. I have another video which I constantly looking for stuff. There's a man, a historian, who said there's an 80-year cycle that repeats, and it starts with a war. There's a pandemic which lasts 2 years, then there's a war, and then there's a recovery period, and then there's party time, and then there's descending into the next pandemic and war. Which the pandemics are 100 years apart and last 2 years. So we had the 1819 pandemic, 100 years later, the 1919 pandemic. And it's winding down, probably be wound down by 2023, yeah. And then there'll be a war, which is in the making as we speak. And we're caught up in, this is caused by planetary influences on the minds of humans. The same way people in mental asylums get very agitated by the gravity of the full moon, well, the human race gets very agitated by the gravity of the massive planets. And there's a book called In Search of the Miraculous by Peter Ouspensky, and he's with his teacher, George Gurdjieff. Now, both of these people are heavyweights in the esoteric sciences. And Ouspensky said, can war be stopped? And Gurdjieff, every time was asked that question, said no, and just brushed it off. This time he said yes. He said, war is caused by planetary influences. And when planets get too close, it's like passing a man on the sidewalk. You feel a bit uncomfortable. Well, on the sidewalk it lasts 20 seconds, but for a planet it can be years because they move so slowly. And that's what's with Jupiter being here now. And supposedly the influence of Jupiter, which is what shortened up the Cuban Missile Crisis. And in the Bible it says the end times disaster will be shortened up. It will be intense but short. Maybe Jupiter being near, hopefully. I keep saying the same things over and over if you follow my videos. It's essential that people realize there's a catastrophe coming, and it's not the war. It's the disruption of the surface of the Earth, and possibly the Earth turning by 90 degrees, which will put Antarctica on the equator. And while that happens, the oceans sloshing around will just cover continents and just take out everything and everybody. And all we'll have is a few ragtag survivors here and there, and one-celled life in the oceans and under the crust of the Earth. There's life down several miles under the crust, and there's water down there. And that's the disaster which needs to be averted. Is if things get so bad we're back to one-celled animals, we have to come all the way back up through plants and animals and dinosaurs and to get back to here. So we have this one brief moment in eternity to make it through this disaster. That's why Elon Musk says we need a base on the moon and we need a base on Mars in case everything gets taken out, that we can come back from a level of knowledge and technology and not from throwing stones at the monkeys. Okay, so that's it for being cancelled again. This is the intermittent power failures they talk about. So prepare if you can. You need food, water, gold, guns, ammunition, medicine. You need to get out of a metropolitan area. And if all of us are wrong, you'll have gold, guns, food, and medicine, and you'll be living in a nice country home. Okay? Bye for now.